57 people shot in Chicago over one weekend. As P once said, there's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide. Me and the Notification Gang would like to invite everybody to come join us Monday through Thursday, 9:20 to 10 o'clock for morning coffee, where we discuss the events of the prior day and also just talk mess about stuff. See you then.
Gun violence is surging in Chicago once again. Police say at least 57 people were shot since Friday evening during one of the most violent weekends on record. At least 11 were killed. There were 25 victims from 5 shootings during one particularly aggressive 2.5-hour period. Dean Reynolds is outside Chicago Police headquarters. Dean, good morning.
Good morning. The shootings this weekend come as police here point to progress against gun violence. But some community leaders say it's not nearly enough and are calling for the police superintendent and the mayor to step down. Just after midnight Sunday on Chicago's west side, 2 men shot at a crowd during a block party. 4 people were hit, including a 13-year-old boy. At another scene, 8 people were shot outside an apartment complex. Many of the victims are teenagers. In the Englewood neighborhood, stray bullets hit 2 men working on a pool deck of a home. One of the victims ran inside to call 911.
He just was actually trying to help the other guy.
The caller survived. His co-worker did not. Chicago police say over a 24-hour period, 34 people were shot and 5 died. The youngest survivor is an 11-year-old shot in the leg. Chicago police say everyone has to be held accountable, not just law enforcement.
We need more help from our judicial system. We need more help from our federal partners, and we're getting it.
Justice for everybody! Just before the chaotic weekend, more than 200 demonstrators marched Thursday at an anti-violence rally.
Blue on black violence, black on black violence. We're interested in all the violence stopping.
Some want the resignations of the city's police superintendent, Eddie Johnson, and Mayor Rahm Emanuel. On Sunday, police pointed out that despite the weekend violence, murders in the city are down 25% so far this year. Shootings are down more than 30%.
We can never measure what we prevent. What we can see is less victims.
While the numbers are down, one of the protest organizers from last week says that they may next try to disrupt operations at O'Hare International Airport to drive home the point that more needs to be done. Gail?
All right, Dean, thank you very much.
What's up, party people? Come join me Friday night, 9 p.m. after you put the kids to bed. Game night. I'm putting a team together. BBN, Jack Frost. What's up, party people? The problem with some of us is that we think that our problems are the problems, the end-all be-all. Nobody has problems worse than we have. So we tend to not be able to see the forest for the trees. All we can see is the tip of our nose and inward, nothing further. So when I look at these shootings that happened over one weekend, might I add, 57 people shot, one weekend in one city. Some towns go entire years, you don't have 57 shootings. Now, before I get to what my actual point is, I just want to point something out. If you look at Chicago, the police they pointed out after the shooting, the police pointed out after the shooting, that shootings had been down. Violent murders and things and such are actually down, they want to point out. And that's what makes this so much of something. See, now, if you just have a gang war, and in the middle of a gang war, you have people, innocent bystanders, actual gang members, you know, the innocent bystanders obviously being caught up in the feud one way or another, and gang members being shot, but you have actual gangs going against each other. As much as we do not like that, that's a narrative in which we can understand, and that's a narrative which I might say would make sense. There's a war. One of the things that America as a nation does to other countries in order to be able to go in, and this is a tactic that has been used before America even existed, so let me not say it like it's just something that America does, is if you want to take over a land, and if you want to usurp, or if you want to move the military in order to command the area and have control over the people, you destabilize the region. This is what was done in Afghanistan. This is what was done in many of the Middle Eastern countries. Also in countries in Africa. Also in countries in South America. This is what they do. They destabilize the region. By destabilizing the region, it makes it easier for the military, who's ever military, to come in and take control of things. So when I look at Chicago and I see that there's 57 shootings over one single weekend, with up until this point that I know of 11 fatalities, and if you add in the information that the murders and the shootings have went down, and things had been getting better, that just leads me to believe that that particular area, for whatever the reason is going under the same type of stresses that cause for countries to be destabilized. There comes a point where people have to decide what's more important. Us keeping the ability to kill ourselves, or us having the ability to save each other. I'm not one of these people that say, oh man, you should go snitch, or you should go rat, but I am absolutely a person that believes that if you're a regular citizen, you're not part of the fuckery. You do want protection from the police. And this is a fact, the police were unavailable. Because for there to be 57, you would think, after the first 2 or 3 instances of a shooting, the police would be out in force. You would think this. The fact that the police were not out in force is proof that there's a possibility that there's a concerted effort to allow violence over that weekend that just passed. Why would the police not be out in force after the first couple of shootings? Especially if the first couple of shootings were not done by any specific gangs and it were just random acts of violence. Why wouldn't officers that's at home not be called in? Why wouldn't the police not be rolling up and down the streets, making their presence be known before more acts of violence can happen? I hear that there are people calling for the jobs of the mayor and the police chief. And I say good job after the fact. And the reason why I say good job after the fact, because if this was allowed to happen, you'd have to believe that somebody had to have known that this was a possibility under their regime. You have to believe that this was a possibility. That's the thing about this. Not only are youth that can be argued that they're part of gangs. But even if they are, the police are supposed to be out there to prevent them from killing one another, not allowing them to kill one another. Just so we're clear on that. But also individuals that are not in any gangs. Individuals that are just, they had 2 pool cleaners got shot. One of them ended up losing his life. This is unacceptable. How does the police allow a whole entire city to run ragged the entire weekend? Sometimes when things happen, I'll be like, you know what? They're trying to do martial law. I've been telling people this for a longest. They're trying to enact martial law. They're trying to enact martial law. Right now, Chicago is about to give them absolutely no other choice. And when the military roll in there, and all of those people that are running around, these savages are all because when the military come in, they're not arresting people. We do know this, right? They're not having martial law, calling the military in to arrest people. That's not what they're going to be there for. They're going to be there for the same thing that the military is there for in Iraq or whatever parts of the Middle East that they currently occupy. That's what they're going to be in Chirac for. That's what they're going to be in Chicago for. You better believe that we'll be exterminating generations. Generations are going to get exterminated. You better believe that, because that is what they're going to be calling them in for. You do understand what I'm getting at, right? The mayor and the police chief and whoever other high-ranking officials are allowed for the lax coverage of the police, or called for the lax coverage of the police to allow for these things to happen. Now, is there some responsibility that has to be on the people? Absolutely. But remember this, laws are not made for the people that obey the laws. Laws are put in place for the people that don't obey the laws, that don't live righteously. That's why laws are put in place. Laws aren't put in place for people who live righteously. If no one ever drunk and drive, there would be no reason to have a law against drinking and driving. So when you tell me, oh, well, it's black on black crime, I say, okay, I don't care what kind of crime it is. It's still the police job to, 1, attempt to prevent the crime, and 2, after the crime happened, find the people who committed the crime, and 3, arrest those people so they could be held accountable in a court of law. But the most important part of what I'm saying is they're there to help prevent crime. You're not supposed to allow killers to kill just because you want to prove a point. Now, when if martial law is enacted, generations are going to be lost. Because they're not coming here to arrest people. They're coming here to lower the population. Leave the comments down below. I want to know what you guys think about this. Because one weekend, 57 people shot. Where's the police presence? At that point, you would have to believe that the police are actively avoiding areas that they know gang violence happens in, that they know things might go on in. They have to be actively they have to be to allow 57 shootings in a weekend. They would have to be actively. They have to all be taking coffee at the same time. How? One weekend, 57 people shot. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I have not forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one. I'm out. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to help dictate the direction that this channel takes, please leave a comment. All comments are appreciated, whether positive or negative. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. And remember, positive thoughts cause for positive things to happen. Let's get it.